Hey everybody. Hey, right behind me is a piece of land that once got national attention here in Melbourne. I'm in the north section of Melbourne, really the north section of O'Galley here in Melbourne, Florida. Right off US 1, which is right over here to my left. You see the cars going by, many of them go by. Seeing this little piece of land with this old fence behind me that was protected, a place of business, and they think nothing of it, that maybe the place burned down or maybe it was just torn down for no apparent reason. They probably had no idea the history that was being made here for about 2 decades. It caused a lot of controversy on you either on this side or you were on that side. There was no really in between. But either way, I live 2 minutes from here, and then we come up US 1, and there was constantly action going on right behind me. So what was this place right behind me? Well, it's off of Dixie Way, which is off of US 1, right here in Melbourne, Florida. Well, I'm at what was once called the Aware Woman Clinic, an abortion clinic, so to speak, here in Melbourne, Florida.
Fire rescue. Hi, we need an ambulance up at Aware Woman. It's 1564 Dixie Way. Okay, what's going on? We have a patient with a real low blood pressure, 54/30. Yes.
You care about this girl. You need to know everything before you go through with this. She's going to suffer a lot more pain and trauma afterwards than she is now. This is a baby and you are a father. Please take your responsibilities. They're going to kill your child, your little boy or your little girl.
Right behind me would have been the building. It obviously is no longer there. That slab over here to my left, just a portion of it. When they widened the road, they had to take half of it off, so there's not a whole lot that remains here. But there's some old video out there that you can look at, and you can see some reminders. Over here would have been the parking lot. Obviously my car is parked here, and this is where we'll park and come in. Right over here to my left will be the entrance. People will walk up here, and we're going to take a look at that fence in a minute. But over here would have been the entrance, and it was just a busy place, and the protesters would be right over here and across the street doing their thing and trying to convince folks not to go in, to come and talk to them. And it was quite the scene here on this street, to say the least. Again, I got some video of some folks that would sit on the curb and stuff, and there was a buffer zone. It's the first time I ever heard of buffer zone when I was a kid, and it might have even been originated here. I have no idea. There was a buffer zone that you had to be within a certain number of feet of the parking lot because of just all the chaos that was going on here. And they've had a little red taped stripe that was right up in this area, and you couldn't go past that stripe apparently. I'm not sure of the rules. I never came out here, but apparently in the 90s they put that in there and they implemented that buffer zone that you could only get so close to the place. Here I'm doing the parking lot, what I just talked about earlier. The clinic was given approval to open or to break ground in 1977, and the protests started pretty much right away. Again, for about 2 decades, nothing but protest here on one side or the other. In 1999, they closed the doors for good. Not necessarily because they just couldn't take the heat anymore, really because the city needed to widen the road. And again, like I said earlier, they basically cut the foundation in half to get the road widened. And in 2000, the place was razed, torn down, and here it sits. All that's left really is some of the foundation and some of that fence over here. And the rest are just memories. Here you can see some of the foundation, where this wasn't even the foundation of the clinic. This is really kind of a thing that was poured to separate the building from the walkway. Right in here would have been the entrance as I'm approaching here. And here you see the back of the fence that was kind of protected folks' privacy, I guess. This is part of the foundation here. It's really been taken over by Mother Nature. Again, I'm standing behind the fence, which was here. There's a no trespassing sign that's really prevalent in a lot of the old videos. That would have been right what I'm looking at. I would have been right behind it. in many of the old videos. Now right here, it's a 6-lane road now, US 1. Back in the day, it was 2 lanes on each side. And you see the car just go by on the right-hand side. That really, on the left side of that lane is where you would see protesters up and down virtually 7 days a week. And anytime during the daytime, you would see them with their picket signs. And later on, in the late 90s, you would see both sides picketing. So it was really quite the scene when you came by here and saw it on a daily basis. So the pro-life folks would kind of take camp across the street there at that home, and they would videotape folks in this driveway. They would get their license plates, they would obviously videotape them, and they would try to track these people down and try to convince them to change their mind, or the doctors and the nurses and Patricia Beer-Windle herself. They would try to just continue to, I guess, harass, the only word I can say, even though they felt it was completely justified, to stop doing what they're doing. And I used to have to deliver to Miss Windle's home. And let me tell you, she was afraid to open her front door until she knew who I was, because I'm in the delivery business. She would not open her door, and I'm sure she had a lot of protests in front of her home, as did a lot of the other doctors and stuff. So I'm sure it became quite intimidating when people would show up at their front door. You know, regardless of where you are on the issue, it said that between 25 and 30,000 abortions were performed right here on this property. It's really kind of a strange feeling to be standing here, to be honest with you. Once again, looking down the ground, you see this where this stops right here. This is an old parking, whatever you call those things you park in front of. This probably would have been for one of the doctors or someone that was, or one of the managers of the clinic, because it's up here all by itself, kind of secluded. So the pro-life folks would camp in front of this home with videotapes and their signs, and they would picket in front of there and also in front of the property here. And Randall Terry, who was Operation Rescue, I believe he was the founder or the head of that, he showed up here. Meredith Ray, I think, was behind most of the videotaping. He was here on almost a daily basis, and folks from all over. It was quite the scene to come by here and see this, but I believe they even may have bought the home behind me at some point. I'm not sure, but from what I understand, the folks that owned that house lived up in Michigan somewhere, and they would come down here for the winter time. So they would use the front of that house on a daily basis. Well, that's going to do it here for at Aware Woman Clinic. Thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you next time. Oh, it just says yard sale. Thanks for watching.